I tend to try not to use the word legends too freely, but let's just say that there's two veteran sailors here with a legendary boat. And Paddy Broughton and Lindsay May, and Paddy had to step in for Lindsay, who I hope you're recovering well there, Lindsay, as the navigator. So, and as we were in our last interview, Paddy gave a great yell because they'd just won the Division 5, which is fantastic, against Disco Trooper, which was literally minutes away. So first of all, you've got a story to tell us before we start.
I have. Lindsay May introduced us to this fabulous bloke called Sandy McWilliam,
Right.
who is just a brilliant man to sail with.
Right.
And he's a youngster. How old would you say he is, Lindsay? 30?
He's getting close to 30.
Yeah. And he came and met me in Samoa, I think, when we were delivering Kialoa back from the Transpac race. And he was on Cinquante.
Yes.
And we were hammering down the Tasmanian coast, blowing like heck as it has been. And Cinquante was in front of us, and they suddenly started doing circle work at 0 knots. And so I got on the VHF just to make sure they were okay. Cinquante, are you okay? And no one answered first one. Second one, I hear this, Paddy, we're okay. And I could tell it was Sandy. And I said, what happened? And he said, we've had a steering gear failure. I'm just looking for a shackle so I can fix it. And 10 minutes later, they were sailing again.
Wow,
and I was just saying to Lindsay, A, thank you for introducing me to Sandy, and B, everybody needs a Sandy on their boat.
They certainly do. I mean, it's a very good point, because a lot of the people we're talking about it's sort of like bushfire fighting the whole way down. I mean, Law Connect, Ty Oxley is just saying, 24, 36 hours of just fixing stuff. It's inevitable, isn't it, at some level?
At some level it is.
I mean, you want to be well prepared, of course.
I have to say, on Love and War, what did we break? I don't know. We didn't break anything. Actually, no, maybe we did. We broke a handle on by the metho stove.
Oh, good Lord.
Mally swung off it while he was cooking because it was so rough, and he was still cooking dinner.
That's heritage
broke
stuff.
off.
That's heritage stuff.
And it's here for the Wooden Boat Festival, so we're in trouble.
Oh, Lordy. Oh, dear. That's fantastic. So, Paddy, you obviously stepped in for Lindsay, who wasn't able to make it at the last minute, and you two were talking to each other pretty much daily beforehand, and we talked before the race about sort of what you thought about the weather. Did it sort of largely pan out as you expected?
It pretty much did, Lindsay, didn't it? Don't you think?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, we had a conversation every day, in fact, about how it was playing out, because Lindsay has the Love and War polars in, and I did too.
Yeah.
And we've sailed with each other a bit, from Brindabella days with the great George Snow to, Kialoa, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think I told you the story last time about all our major navigation software failing, but we had this major navigation software to keep us going.
Ancient.
No, navigation software. And I really do feel in a very positive way that I am standing on the shoulders of a giant. I learned a lot of that stuff from Lindsay.
Yeah.
So I'm very proud to have been asked to be the navigator on Love and War, and be very sorry that it wasn't Lindsay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, the other thing you talk about, fixing things, Paddy is the world's greatest fixer. I wrote in his logbook when we sailed to England last year that as a merchant banker you make a bloody good engineer, technician. There was not a thing on Kialoa II. And lots of things broke on the way through to England, of course, you imagine. But Paddy wasn't head down, bum up, fixing stuff and pulling stuff together, jerry-rigging stuff.
Yeah.
It was extraordinary.
Yeah.
Extraordinary.
Yeah.
You know something? And all that stuff that I was fixing, my head down in the diesel and my fixing toilets and heads and doing all these great things, I've never, ever been seasick.
That's extraordinary.
First time in my life at sea that I've been seasick was because I was navigator.
Right.
I was down below looking at screens organising things, fixing things, and down below for a lot of the time.
Yeah.
First time in my life I was
Wow,
sick.
that's extraordinary, isn't it?
You heard it
You heard it first. Breaking news.
I'm in awe of Lindsay because he does that every day.
Lindsay, I remember reading about one of your first Hobarts, and I just could not believe the kind of things that you guys wore, the kind of conditions and so on, but also the tech you had, because basically there wasn't any in the current version, and you've come through all of that. And now we've got to the point where we've got such sort of rich data sources, it's almost like having those years of experience to know which of that stuff you look at and not. Yeah, is that sort of key?
Well, as I've said a number of times, you really become a data analyst and you have to clear out a lot of stuff. There is so much available. And Paddy, we've just been talking about it. They'd be running expedition runs, and I've been doing the same sort of thing, watching what they're doing. And it's just been textbook, really, I believe, what they've done here.
Yeah.
But as Paddy said, we get 3 different routes, and you have to really work out and use a bit of your own intuition and what you think's going to do. So it is really difficult today. There's a lot of information available, and you can get yourself fouled up by too much.
Yeah,
That's absolutely right. So
Yeah.
just to fill in there,
Yeah.
and you told me that one of Peter Kurtz's great truisms was sail at the mark, and it is always true.
Yeah.
And you did.
And there are also certain rules about sailing into Tasmania, one of which is you don't go inside the Hippolytes. And we were just discussing this expedition, 3 different models, and for very good reason, had the routes inside the Hippolytes. And guess
Just tell
what?
us where the Hippolytes are.
Oh, sorry, right by near Tasman Island.
Yeah, about 10 miles or 8 miles short of Tasman Island.
A whole
It's a
bunch
big
of
block
boats in front of us went in there,
Right.
and we thought, expedition is telling us to go in there. We're not going to go in there. And we tacked out, and guess what?
Yeah.
They all got left behind.
We
and
have
this was the sort
So
of
what
the
happens if you go
intuition and
inside the
truth.
Hippolytes?
Well, every now and then it can work, but I
Yeah.
would say it's probably a 1 in 10.
Yeah. So on this boat some years ago, maybe it was 2019, Rowdy, Commodore, Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania, he's the local knowledge here, and we were spinnaker up, nor'easter, and that was the track, go inside the Hippolytes, and Rowdy says, yeah, it's okay. We went inside the Hippolytes, and the breeze went round through 360 degrees. We had to drop the kite. We sort of slowly snuck around inside, and then we got out the other side and popped the kite, and we lost, like about half an hour or something. Yeah. So it's been our big thing. Maybe it was earlier than it's been our big thing between Rowdy and I is don't go inside the Hippolytes.
And that was the last thing Lindsay said to me before we left the lodge. Don't let Rowdy go inside the Hippolytes.
Local knowledge not working. Yeah,
Exactly
absolutely.
right.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. Fantastic to hear the news that you've won the division. Such a beautiful boat. We were up in the air shooting you guys as you were heading out with that big yellow kite up. She looks magnificent. She really does.
Can I just add the other thing with Peter Kurtz, like sail the making leg. The other thing with Peter Kurtz is he wouldn't have been happy with a division win, right? He just, even when he won the races, he said, you blokes have got to try harder, right? He was only ever interested in first place. So first place in division in this race, which has been a very difficult race for all sorts of reasons, they've done incredibly well. And you've probably seen the leaders of this is twisted over the last 48 hours between Disco Trooper, Min River and Love and War. And, they've just...
And we were talking about fixes, and I have to say, Phil Kurtz knows this boat very, very well. And you'd ask him any question, he'd go, bang, 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 and that would work well as well. So thanks to Simon Kurtz and thanks to Phil Kurtz. We've had a cracking run.
Yeah, fantastic. Great stuff, guys, and enjoy your celebrations.
We are looking forward to it.